All right, so this is gonna be week 2, day 5. I just want to say thanks to everybody showing the support, even if it's just friends. I know there's some people that aren't friends that have watched the videos and at least stuck around for a little bit. I don't have a beginning clip to show what I achieved on this day because this day, I didn't achieve much. I'm gonna take out the Uncle Yap here and start yapping about game development things. Really, and that's to say, like, really. This is like getting towards the end of my deep dive where I kind of reel myself back in from the rabbit hole. And what happens is a lot of the time with any task, really, but more importantly in game development or anything that's creative in that aspect, is you hyper focus on one aspect and you're trying to get it done exactly how you want it to get done, and you have the sense of perfectionism that it needs to be done this way because in order for this piece of art to be understood, it has to be done in that way. And my issue is I combine that with a greedy sense of knowledge gathering, and it led me into a rabbit hole of trying to figure out this movement. And I just want people to know that it's fine to go down the rabbit hole, and it's fine to waste some time with it and figure out some new things, and you can always pull away something that will be helpful later, which a lot of the information I figured out was helpful later, but it really distracted me from the main point, which was trying to get a game out and learning Roblox scripting not as fast as possible, but within a reasonable time, and not so much focusing on what's right, what's wrong, what's perfect, what's not perfect. How do I make things better when I watch something? Like there's a lot of examples, which you probably won't see most of them because the background's going to be just sped up coding. But there's examples where I go out and I look at a video and I have a lot of knowledge about programming and patterns in programming and how, in quotations, correct programming should be. And I follow a guide on how to do the dash, and if I had just followed the guide on how to do the dash and I just did it exactly how he did it, it worked. And that's all I had to do. But I tried to optimize it. I tried to make it look cleaner. I tried to detach it so it was related to a loop. So like the loop would go over it and it wouldn't be as unoptimized, but that really isn't a problem most of the time. You really want to get something out first before you worry about any of that stuff. And that's basically this whole movement journey has been really focusing on trying to get functionality exactly how I want functionality. And because I'm going for this exactly how I want functionality, I sacrificed a lot of the time that I invested on it, and I had to pull myself back and tell myself, "Hey, focus on something else." And the next day, when I get into making like visual, I think I make visuals for the dashes and the jumps to track when you double jump and when you dash, which is going to be the end of my dashing and jumping, because dashing and jumping doesn't even come until many stages later in my plans. So I only did the dashing and jumpings because I was doing such not boring things, but such fundamental groundwork things that I was like, I want to do something where I can see it, and then it led me into this hole that took forever to get out of. But I run into another issue with a graphical user interface, which I wanted to try to replicate Deadlock's style of like a half circle, and it would charge back up. But with a graphical user interface, you can't make a half circle. You can only make a frame straight, like a square. You can't make it a half circle, and you have to do something else. And I jumped into it and I jumped immediately back out because I wanted to stay on track. But yeah, I just wanted to go on and rant and yap a little bit about how trying to focus on certain things and not just focusing on getting them to work and then trying to make them perfect later will really hold you up and it will really halt you. And it held me up for the majority of this week, and I wasn't bothered by it because I've done it so much. But I don't really wish or have hoped to do anything differently. I just know that I should have done things differently, and I know that this little bump isn't going to be big down the road so long as I keep focusing on short-term goals that I can meet, which I draw out a list of like short-term goals to meet and things like that, so I can actually get at least this sort of game out, which this game isn't intended to be anything spectacular. It's just to showcase that I was able to make something that I was coming out to make, and then I can move on to something else. And yeah, I just want people to know that in any endeavor that you're doing, really, sometimes you'll go and you'll hit hiccups, and you just gotta fight through the hiccups. You'll hit an obstacle, and you have to find solutions to the obstacles. There's problems, and in a lot of this, it's the problem was I was too focused on trying to get this movement exactly how I wanted to, and that was something that I had to solve, and I knew the answer the entire time, but I kept telling myself that the next time that I do it, I'm going to get it how I wanted it, and the next time I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna get it how I wanted it, and I did that for several days. So this is kind of the final really jumping into it, because even now in the back of my head, I'm saying a week after this that I know there's a platforming template, and in the platforming template it has like dashes and jumps all set up in a good way, and how to actually redo the movement inherently, and a template's made by Roblox, so I know it's gonna work. And even now I'm saying I should go back and check that out later. I'm gonna focus on the correct goals right now, and I'm glad for anybody that stuck around and listened to me yap about being stuck on something and getting a bit philosophical. But yeah, this was a big, not a big obstacle, it was a big investment that didn't really pan out, but I still got the functionality that I wanted to, and I refocused on things, and that's all I could really hope for if I'm investing time into something, is to gain knowledge from it and improve on other places. And it really did make me learn a lot about the fundamentals of what's going on with the camera and the move vectors and everything like that. And it's kind of it's not an obscure, but like if you were going in and you're trying to make libraries to put on the marketplace, you kind of have to know that sort of knowledge, where there's sort of levels to it, where I know people just get stuff and they buy like little scripts that do a lot of things for them, or they'll commission somebody to do it. In order to be that person that's behind typing that stuff in, you have to have this knowledge of the system. So yeah, thanks for sticking around. Probably come out with another video tonight. I haven't worked on anything. This will be the 24th, so this will be like week 3, almost the end of week 3, middle of the week. I'll try to record some stuff, probably work on work on some more things for about an hour, and then move on from there, and try to really catch up to the current day. Maybe not try to catch up to current day, give myself a little leeway there. But yeah, thanks for listening to me ramble on.